U.S. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer is retiring after serving more than 2 decades on the nation's highest court, Supreme Court, and Biden administration sources tell NPR. Breyer, professorial, practical and moderately liberal, wrote many of the court's legally important but less glamorous decisions and sought, behind the scenes, to build consensus for centrist decisions on a conservative court. Breyer's retirement gives President Biden his first opportunity to name a new justice to the court. During the 2020 campaign, he pledged to name an African-American woman if he got the chance. The two leading contenders are said to be federal Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was on President Barack Obama's shortlist for the court in 2016, and California Supreme Court Justice Leondra Kruger, who served as assistant and then deputy solicitor general in both Democratic and Republican administrations prior to her nomination to California's highest court. Both women are young, in terms of Supreme Court appointment. Brown Jackson is 51 and Kruger is 45. And both have stellar legal credentials. Breyer's decision to retire is a relief to liberal Democrats after seeing Republicans push through 3 nominees from President Donald Trump using some unprecedented tactics. Indeed, last year, some liberal groups publicly pressed Breyer to retire, even demonstrating in front of the Supreme Court. The justice, however, demurred. In an interview with NPR, he said that the decision on when to retire has many complex parts to it. "I think I am aware of most of them and will consider them." His decision to remain for another year was likely due in large part to the major issues the court was about to confront: abortion, guns, separation of church and state, and potentially affirmative action. These are all matters that he has strong feelings about, and he thought that his 27 years on the court might enable him to prevent a wild swing to the right. In the 2020 term he had played just that role. But this term, when compromise seemed to elude even his skilled hand, the 83-year-old justice decided it was time to step down. As he put it in an NPR interview in September, "I do not want to stay on the Supreme Court until I die." The court's term ends this summer, and it's expected he'll retire then. Hollywood's idea of a Supreme Court justice. Breyer, though not a household name, has been an important figure on the Supreme Court for more than a quarter century. Indeed, if he hadn't been a justice, Hollywood might have made him up. Deeply intellectual, fluent in not just law, but philosophy, art and culture, he is also absent-minded, geeky, self-deprecatingly funny, physically fit, but so preoccupied that he 3 times suffered serious injuries when knocked from his bicycle. In the 2020 court term, Breyer remained an important force, authoring some of the court's most important decisions. He wrote the court's 8-1 decision expanding free speech rights for students and declaring that a school could not punish a 14-year-old cheerleader for her off-color, online Snapchat message disparaging her school, which she posted from off-campus. In another major case, he wrote the court's decision tossing out a challenge to Obamacare for a 3rd time. Perhaps his most publicly well-known decision came in 2016 when he wrote the court's abortion decision striking down a Texas law, copied in other states, that closed nearly half the clinics in the state without any demonstrable safety justification. The decision dispassionately dissected and demolished the state's claim that its motive was to protect women's health and safety. As Breyer observed, prior to enactment of the challenged law, abortion was among the safest medical procedures in the state. Childbirth, he pointed out, was 14 times more likely to cause death, colonoscopy 10 times more likely and liposuction 28 times more likely, and yet, none of these other procedures was similarly regulated.